Okay guys, today I'm going to show you some basics of working in Photoshop. And the first thing that you want to do is we're going to open the selections file from your source folder. And before we begin, we're going to reset our workspace. So you're going to go to Window, Workspace, and we want to reset Essentials. By doing that, it's going to place everything on the screen so that your video or your screen looks exactly like this video. The first thing we're going to do is talk about selection tools. And on the left side of your screen, you have your toolbar. You'll notice that as you click on the tools, the options bar at the top changes according to whatever tool is selected over here. And on the right side of the screen are panels. And panels will be there for different jobs that you do. If you don't see a panel or you've accidentally closed it out and you need to reopen it, you're going to go to Window, and then you're going to click on the particular panel that you need. In most cases, students accidentally delete the layers panel, so they have to go back in and click on it, which you can do Windows and choose the layers panel or press the F7 key on your keyboard. Now you'll notice that your source file has 3 different layers in it. One is the legal disclaimer by Adobe. The second one is called Fruit. It's on the top. And then I made a duplicate copy of the Fruit layer and moved it down so that you'll have a before and after. We want to make sure that the Fruit layer is selected, and we're going to press the letter M on your keyboard. When you press M, it's going to open up, or it's going to select your rectangular marquee tool. You'll notice that when you hover over the tool and hold down the mouse, or you right click, you're going to get other tools that fly out from that option. We're going to call this a drawer. We know that it's a drawer because it has the little triangle handle in the lower right corner. So we're going to click on the rectangular marquee. We want to select this top rectangle, so we are going to start in the top left corner, drag it down to the bottom right corner of this one particular shape, and you'll notice that this is selected because you're going to see these marching ants around the selection. So whatever we've got selected, whatever you do to it after that will only apply to whatever is selected. Next, we're going to come down to the bottom of our layers panel, and you're going to see a black and white circle at the bottom of the layers panel. This is called your adjustment layer. We're going to click on this, and I want you to choose one that says hue and saturation. And from hue and saturation, a properties panel will appear. Okay, and what we want to do is in the properties panel, we're going to drag the hue slider, and you can actually move it back and forth to see how it's going to adjust. We're going to drag the hue slider to the right so that it's positive 30. You can type that number in or you can drag it. So now what I did is it made the grapefruit look like a lemon now. The next thing we want to do is we are going to go back to our fruit layer. So we click on the fruit layer, and this time I want to select the elliptical marquee tool, and it's hiding below the rectangle tool. So what I'm going to do is with my rectangular marquee selected, I'm going to hold down Shift and press the letter M again. And what that's going to do is it's going to toggle to my next tool. When I use any of the selection tools, as I'm dragging it out, I do not want to let go of the mouse yet. I'm going to hold down the space bar, and it's going to allow me to readjust where those marching ants are. I'm still holding down my mouse. I release the space bar, and then it's going to allow me to adjust the selection. So you've practiced making a selection around the lemon. This time we're not going to do any changes to it, so we need to deselect it. The keyboard command to deselect is Control D, or you can come up to the select menu and choose deselect. Okay. The next thing that we want to do is we want to press the Z key on the keyboard. The Z is going to be for zoom, and I'm going to look at the upper right corner of the fruit image where I see a blueberry that's in between a lemon and a kiwi. And next I want to press the L key on the keyboard. And L is going to access the lasso tools. By default, the lasso is the first one, and this allows me to make a freehand selection. So I want to draw a loose selection around the blueberry, not getting close to the edges of it or the shadow. And I'm going to fill this in with a solid color. So I'm going to come up here to my edit menu. I'm going to choose fill, which is also Shift F5, and then I'm going to press content aware, and color adaptation. When I press OK, it's going to replace the selection with a similar color that's around the marching ants. We're going to Control D to deselect. We need to zoom out on our picture so that we can see the whole thing. So you're going to do a Control 0. Control 0 is the keyboard command for fit on screen. And the next tool that we want to select, we're going to press the letter W on the keyboard. When you press W, you're going to open up the drawer right here, and we're going to start with the Object Selection tool. We're going to click on that, and we want to draw a rectangle around this fruit bowl. When I release the mouse, it's going to try to select the objects that were within that rectangle. You'll notice that on the side here, you have pieces of fruit that did not get selected. We're going to hold down a hotkey. The hotkey is Shift. I'm going to hold that down. And while I still have the selection and holding Shift, I'm going to draw a rectangle around these other pieces of fruit that did not get selected. And it should add that piece in. It made a little bit of a sloppy selection, so we're going to try to undo that and do it once more. There we go. Okay, so after you have that fruit selection made, you're going to go down to the bottom. You're going to click on the adjustment layer, which is the black and white circle. This time we're going to choose brightness and contrast. And we're going to add 20 to the brightness. Okay, you'll notice that when you did that, if you're looking at the before and after, the bowl of fruit just got a little bit lighter in color. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back and click on the fruit layer. And we want to have our object selection tool still selected. And one of the cool things is on the top up here, we have a select subject option. We're going to click on the select subject option. And so it's going to try to identify objects on the slide or on the screen. You're going to notice it selected the little boy, but it also selected the fruit basket. So we need to make a change to that. Press the letter Q on the keyboard. What that does is that creates a quick mask, and meaning that anything that's red will be protected and won't be changed. Whatever is left colorful and not masked will get the result of Photoshop. You want to press the letter B on your keyboard. B is going to bring up your brushes, and probably by default your brush is going to be set to size 13. To make it smaller, you're going to press the left bracket key that's directly next to the letter P on your keyboard, or the right bracket key makes it bigger, and that bracket key is next to left bracket. We're going to actually paint with black. When I paint with black, it's going to add to this mask. So I'm going to paint with black. When I press the letter Q again, you'll notice that my marching ants are going to disappear on this side. So now whatever I change is only going to affect the little boy. Okay, we're going to go down and make a new adjustment layer. So I'm going to click on the black and white circle again. I'm going to go up to color balance. This time we're going to choose add 50 to the blue color slider. And you'll notice that it makes the little boy's blue t-shirt a brighter color of blue. From here, we're going to do a Control S. If we're saving it for the first time, you're going to do Control Shift S. We're going to name it according to our class policy. So it's going to be your name and then a hyphen or an underscore, and then it'll be selections.psd. Once you have that saved into your folder, you're going to do Control W to quit or exit out of this document. So we're going to do Control W. It may ask you if you want to save it again. You'll say yes, and then we'll move on to the next document.